Okay, time is 7 o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order. Mr. Gibb, will you please repeat the statement of compliance?
In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, notice of this meeting has been properly advertised in the Daily Record and Suburban Trends. Its agenda has been posted at the appropriate locations, and a copy has been filed with the Pequannock Township Clerk.
Thank you. Will you please call the roll?
Mr. Bloomer?
Here.
Mr. Cerisi?
Here.
Mrs. Dempsey is absent. Mrs. Esposito?
Here.
Mr. Gittin?
Here.
Mr. McSweeney?
Here.
Mr. Pompeo?
Here.
Mr. Sinek?
Here.
Mrs. Sherman is absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Let everyone please stand for the flag salute.
I tried turning it up. It's the room.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll micro adjust and see what I can do.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to our September 16th regular business meeting. School is back, and I hope our students and teachers are going to have a great year. Also, I want to welcome back our student representatives for another year. The board is looking forward to your reports and the insight that you bring to our meetings. Thanks for coming. And again, we're back at Cedar Crest for our annual meeting. I want to thank the Cedar Crest community for welcoming us into your home. Our meetings here are always a great experience due to the insightful comments and positive interest in the Board of Education from the Cedar Crest residents, many of whom are past educators. Tonight we have a great meeting plan that includes 2 presentations. The first will be an update on our advanced placement classes from our high school principal, Mr. Hazlett. And the second will be on our 24-25 district goals from our superintendent, Dr. Portis, who's sitting to my left. The theme of these presentations is twofold. First, challenging our students to achieve academic success, and second, supporting our students and teachers on that journey. Next, I want to give 2 additional updates. When we last met, the board had just achieved board certification from the New Jersey School Boards Association. Since that time, we have been hard at work to achieve the next and highest level of board certification, Carol E. Larson Master Board certification. This certification is granted to high-performing boards that accumulate an additional 10 hours of training in the first 2 years after achieving the first level of certification. In fact, since the inception of this certification, there has only been 47 boards in the state and 11 boards in Morris County that have achieved this level. The Pequannock Board achieved the first level of certification in 23 and set a goal to achieve Master Board certification in 24. Following our retreat in August and a review of our self-evaluation, I'm happy to report that we did accumulate enough credits and therefore achieved Carol E. Larson Master Board certification just before the school year started. The board will receive a certification plaque at the first Morris County School Boards Association meeting of the year, which will be held at Pequannock Township High School on October 2nd. Next, I'm sure you have heard about the construction project to honor our high school alumni military veterans that took place this summer in front of the high school. I want to give you an update on that as well. Major construction is complete, and we are waiting for the signs to be fabricated and installed. The project will be dedicated during a ceremony held on November 17th. Additionally, the board is planning to give an overview of the project at a future meeting following the dedication. And last, I want to give an overview of the public comment opportunities that will be available during the meeting. The first public comment opportunity will be restricted to only items on the agenda, which include the presentations. This comment time will occur after we approve the meeting minutes. The second public comment opportunity will occur at the end of the meeting. During the second comment section, you may comment on any item, whether it's on the agenda or not. If you want to make a public comment, please come up to the podium, sign your name, state your name out loud for the record, and you do not need to give your address. Thanks again for having us tonight. Enjoy the meeting, and that concludes my report. Dr. Portis.
Thank you, Mr. Cedar. Before I provide my report, I'm going to send it over to 2 of our student representatives who are here tonight. That is Caitlin Zegler, as well as her sister, Emily Zegler. Girls, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi everyone. So nice to see you all again. Can't wait for another great year. Here are the updates. The start of school has been off to a great start. This week was the first full week of school and students and teachers adjusted to the new rotating block schedule. We greatly appreciate the later start time. In the new rotating block schedule, students have the time after 2:46 to 3:04 to go see teachers for extra help or to finish assignments. This is called the Panther period. This is a good way to keep up with grades and is highly encouraged. This will definitely be useful as the year progresses. Mr. Hazler, Mrs. Milner, and Mr. Silipina met with each class on the second day of school to review the new schedule. Panther period expectations, the lunch support block, and general student expectations for behavior. Each class also discussed fundraising opportunities with their class advisors. Fall sports have been off to a great start this year. Students are working hard on and off the field. Tonight is field hockey senior night. We wish the seniors best of luck. Emily will finish the rest.
Seniors and juniors attended the college fair today during school. Students were able to explore different colleges and talk to people from the colleges about the programs and the majors that are offered there. The annual PTHS Marching Band competition will be taking place on September 28th. Come out and support the PTHS Marching Band, who will be performing around 8 p.m. This past Friday was the senior sunrise. The seniors gathered on the stadium field to watch the sunrise together before school. They had a great time with their classmates. The PTHS is hosting a students' activity fair on September 25th during unit lunch, where students will have the opportunity to sign up for clubs and hear from the club officers about what is going to be planned for this upcoming school year. Homecoming week is scheduled for October 7th through the 11th. The fall pep rally will be taking place on Thursday, October 10th, and the homecoming dance will be taking place on that night from 7:45 to 9:45 p.m. The theme of the dance is Hollywood Lights. The homecoming football game is on Friday, October 11th against Morris Catholic. Thank you for your time and have a great night.
Thank you both, and I'm happy to hear, though not surprised, that the later start time is appreciated by our students. Hopefully you're making the most of it. Thank you both. I have a few quick items from my update, and then I will turn the floor over to Mr. Hazler, who is here to present the AP performance report. As the girls spoke about, we had our first day of school about a week and a half ago. Today marks the 8th day of the school year, and we are off to a strong start in all 5 schools. As I alluded to before, our high school start time changed dramatically, as did the schedule. Our later start time pushed the start time back from 7:29 to 8:05, and we've implemented a rotating drop block schedule that allows for longer periods, but the kids don't have the same periods every day. The early reports are positive, as evidenced by my 2 unpaid sponsors who were here earlier, and I commend our staff, including administrators, in that, as well as our students and families, for being flexible and open-minded with the change. And we really do look forward to improved outcomes in student performance and wellness. Middle school also changed the schedule to have shorter instructional periods that accommodate the needs of that age group and our goal for higher levels of engagement. If any of you have worked with middle school children, you'll know what I mean when I say that sometimes a shorter amount of time is better in order to maintain that high level of engagement. Doing so has allowed us to implement a support block at the end of the day that allows teachers to use intervention and instructional strategies to work with small groups of students to reinforce lessons and address any learning gaps that may be reflected in our ongoing data collection. So we use a lot of assessment tools. That gives us a lot of numbers. That's the quantitative side. With the qualitative side, sometimes there are things that you pick up in conversation or that you just jot down a note. That also factors into recognizing how the students are performing and what we might need to do to help ensure that we close whatever gaps they might be facing. And then not to be forgotten, our elementary schools have maintained their schedules and jumped straight into their routines, and also enjoyed some really nice back-to-school night events this past Thursday. This upcoming Thursday will be our middle school back-to-school night, and then Thursday thereafter is reserved for the high school. Mr. Cedar spoke briefly about the Veterans Wall. The project is nearly complete, And something that we talked about before with Mr. Hazer is it boasts the fastest growing grass seed in history. I'm pretty sure we had a sea of green within about 3 days. It is nothing like what the Portis lawn looks like. I'm very impressed and a touch envious. But the incredible community support has helped this project get done sooner than expected and to a degree of quality and sophistication that still amazes me. The committee will meet Wednesday to review what needs to be completed still, and also to plan the dedication event scheduled for November 17th that's open to the public, and that event will begin at noon right out in front of the high school. I strongly encourage everyone in the meantime to stop by the high school to take a look at the progress of the wall. It really is a beautiful project, and it's so inspiring to know how much hard work took place amongst people in our community to help that vision become a reality. Something that Mr. Gibbs will talk about in his report is the preschool playground. Last week, Dr. Schleary, who's the principal of North Boulevard School, Mr. Gibbs, who is our business administrator, Mr. Anderson, who is our director of facilities, and I met with 2 very motivated community members with the goal of replacing our existing preschool playground at North Boulevard with something more suitable for that age group, and also with specialized equipment to accommodate our learners who have special needs. Our community members have begun the process of searching for grants, which is particularly helpful as this is an item that can get incredibly expensive and is not in our current operating budget. We're already opening ourselves up to new ideas about how we can better accommodate the needs of students from a wide range of backgrounds. And we really do hope that this becomes something that can be a resource for our entire community, not just during the school day, but after school, on weekends, and in the summer. And I'm just going to vouch for it too. I'm particularly excited that this project is coming from our community and that our team in the school district has been able to respond quickly with getting our vendors and architect on board with determining what might be possible. So we're pretty excited about this one. I think coming off the heels of the Veterans Wall, we have a great sense of a can-do attitude about what we can do in partnership with our community members. So that concludes my report proper. There are 2 presentations that are part of what's considered my report. The first of which is going to be presented by our high school principal, Mr. Richard Hazler. For those of you who received the Pequannock magazine, you may recognize him as a recent cover model for the Pequannock magazine. If you have your own copy nearby, I'll give him a Sharpie pen and he can autograph the magazines later. But I do say that with a combination of jest and also great pride. Mr. Hazer has been a part of our community for almost 25 years as an educator, which does not show because he still looks very young. But he works incredibly hard, takes a great amount of pride in his work, and really wants to make sure that his students and staff and families all feel welcome at the high school and also feel like they have the can-do attitude that I just alluded to earlier. The AP student performance or AP performance report that he's about to discuss is something that's been a shared goal of ours. It actually was the motivation behind my dissertation, which has a readership of about 4 people. But I'm okay with that. I really wrote it to be more analytical. But one of the things I challenged Mr. Hazer to do was to get more of our students to realize what a great opportunity they have with advanced placement courses, and also to take them very seriously and to believe that they could achieve more. Generally speaking, when school districts see improvement in AP performance, it's usually greater enrollment or higher levels of student achievement in terms of the test scores. He was able to buck that trend. And so I say this with no shortage of pride that I'm over the moon about the results that he and his staff have been able to achieve, and I know that they're pushing to do even better. What you're going to see in this presentation is a byproduct of a lot of hard work. Ostensibly, I was supposed to be a co-presenter, but Mr. Hazer and the microphone have a very close relationship. They both really work well together. So I'm going to actually be on the sideline for it, but also I firmly believe I want him to own this presentation because these results are more a byproduct of his work than mine. So that might be the longest introduction ever. I think it actually qualifies as a preamble. But anyway, I really hope you get a chance to enjoy this. Rich, have fun. I'm going to be over there lurking.
Testing. No, let's give the board a second to Crest. While they do that, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening with you. I've always been so appreciative of the support that Cedar Crest gives to the Pequannock Township School District. About 23 years ago, I was a business ed teacher and ran our Future Business Leaders of America program, and we were able to do an intergenerational prom, where members from Cedar Crest came down. And it's something that, after COVID, we would love to do again. But we had the jazz band play and came down. It was really a nice way to bridge the experiences that you can provide for our students. And so thank you for being here this evening and taking interest in what we're doing as a district. And I'm very proud to share just a small snapshot of some of the things that we are doing at the high school. As you can hear from our students here, there's a lot going on. It's as soon as school starts, we just hit the ground running, and it really is just a wonderful opportunity for our students to learn and grow with a dynamic staff that is ready to give their all. And so it's really been a wonderful opening, really exciting to be back in school and ready to go. And so tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about our AP program. And so just kind of the objectives of this evening, for those of you that may be former educators, I know there's a few out there this evening, always with a lesson, right? You want to have an objective of what we want to accomplish with the presentation. So I'm going to provide you with a brief overview of the advanced placement program at the high school level, for those who may not be familiar with what that is. I'm going to showcase our student performance in terms of enrollment and AP test scores, and this is based off of last year's testing cycle. And then provide a 5-year historical trend. So how have we done really post-pandemic coming back from that, and then identify action steps to continue our path to success. I'm a firm believer in continuing to push the envelope and never be satisfied with just the status quo, right? We celebrate our accomplishments. We're proud of our accomplishments, but we always want to continue to push our students and our staff to be the best that we can possibly be. And so tonight you'll see some of those things as we go moving forward. So really the basics of what an AP program is. Some of you may have, your children have gone through an AP program when they were in high school. Some of you may have grandchildren currently going through that. But the AP courses are college level courses offered in our high school. They're the highest level that you can take at Pequannock Township High School. And they reflect really what is taught at an introductory college level. These are taken really from students in grades 9 through 12. So as soon as they walk into the high school, they have an opportunity to take AP level courses, and I'll show those in a few minutes. AP exams are taken near the end of the course in May and measure student mastery. So basically from the time really that they are promoted to the next grade level, they are starting the next level coursework. So these students are working over the summer in a variety of ways on different projects, getting a jump start on reading, whatever that first unit is, so that the teachers can start on day one, because technically their school year is shorter, right? If their test is in May and we end in June, usually June 18th or 17th, around that window, they almost have one less month of instruction that they need to get that material in. So that's something that the teachers and students really take seriously. And then a score of 3 or higher on an AP exam can typically earn students college credit and or placement into advanced courses in college. One of the highlights of my job is to get the opportunity to talk to college students when they come back to the high school. And one of the first questions that I ask them is, were you prepared? And to a student, they always say, absolutely. The education that we get at Pequannock, we are further ahead than some of my classmates that I'm taking courses with. I'm providing tutoring for students in my classes because I seem to know more because of the way that we've been pushed by our teachers. And that's really a credit to our staff. We have students that are entering college already as a sophomore. And that means not only that they're doing well academically, it also means from a financial standpoint for their parents, that is money that they are saving through the college process. So those tests are really, really important, and our students do very well, as you're about to see. Some of our AP courses that are offered here at PTHS, in the arts, we have music theory, and I'll read these for you. They have music theory, studio art drawing, studio art 2D design portfolio. In English, we have English language and composition, which is typically taken during the junior year. Then English literature and composition, which is our senior level course. And then we also offer AP seminar and AP research. You'll see asterisks next to those courses, and any course that does. Those courses are really based on enrollment because they're so specialized. We are a small school, so to offer this number of APs is really incredible, but there are some years where some courses just can't run because there may be 1 or 2 students that are interested in taking it. And in that process, we have to offer classes that all students can take. But our students do challenge themselves in other ways. In history and social science, we have art history, macro and microeconomics, AP psychology, U.S. government, U.S. history 1 and U.S. history 2, and then world history. And world history is actually the first AP level course that our students can take when they enter high school. So our grade 9 students are currently enrolled in AP world history. In mathematics and computer science, we have calculus AB and BC. BC is the higher level. A lot of our students will take calculus AB and then take the BC test. So the teacher will train them to take that test, and usually every few years we have students that give it a shot. Introduction to Computer Science Principles is really a fairly newer AP that we've been running. AP Pre-Calculus and AP Statistics. In the sciences, we have biology, chemistry, environmental science, physics 1, and then physics C mechanics. So our physics students take both APs. And as do our economics students. They will take the macroeconomics and the microeconomics exams in the same year. And then in world languages, we offer AP Spanish, and that is really based on, again, student interest and the level of our students coming back. Post-pandemic, we hadn't offered AP Spanish in a number of years. This is the first year that we're able to offer AP Spanish again, which has been great because our students have picked up on that and are doing well. We have about 10 students enrolled in our AP Spanish class. One of the things about AP is that there's always these myths of, oh, well, I can't do it, it's too hard for me. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about what those myths and kind of realities are when you look at an AP program. And again, these are just kind of the 5 major ones that when you research and just based on my experiences, kids will say. You know, the myth is on the left where it says AP courses are for students who always get good grades. And that's not necessarily the case. AP courses are for any student who's academically prepared and motivated to take a college level course. You know, they don't always have to be in an honors class to take AP. One of the examples is AP Psychology. That is one of our more popular AP courses, and those are students who may not have taken an honors level course. They may be students who really just want to try out what AP is. That exam is only a 2-hour exam as opposed to some that may be 3 or 4 hours. So in a course like that, it gives a student an opportunity to take an intro college level course and see if they can do it. The second myth is AP courses are too stressful. I don't want to take that course load. It's too much. I want to enjoy my senior year, my junior year. I want to have time to hang out with my friends, do the activities that make high school enjoyable. The reality is that AP courses are challenging, right? They're designed to be. However, the support received from teachers and classmates can help students manage the workload. And our teachers really do a great job of providing support to students, not only during class. We heard students talk about some of the things that we're doing in our schedule this year. We built in time in our schedule where students can go for extra support with their teachers. We have a period, the Panther period that the 2 young ladies were talking about, where students can go every day and they can meet with teachers after school and get support. It's not new instruction, it's, I didn't understand what was happening in class today, can you clarify this for me? Or I'm working on my homework, can I come in and just sit here? Right, and our teachers are available. And for a student that might have 3 or 4 APs and is on the football team or in the marching band, they're going right to practice after school. Or maybe they have a job, right, that they have to go to. Just finding that time of the day has been so critically important for our kids. High schoolers have changed a lot, and they're involved in a million things. I have a junior myself, my son, and he was on a Zoom meeting today for an interview for a job. Right? And so he's trying to figure out how to balance that workload. We take some of that on during the school day, which has been helpful. Taking AP courses could hurt my GPA, my grade point average. I don't want to take it in case I don't get the grade that I want. Right? AP courses receive AP weighting at PTHS, which is the highest weighting that you can get. So taking AP courses shows colleges that you're willing to challenge yourself academically. When a student goes to college, they have a transcript that they send off to college. And colleges will look at not only their GPA, but what courses they're taking. And if they see a student taking 3 or 4 AP courses in 1 year, or over the course of their high school career, they look at that and say, wow, that student really did challenge themselves. And today during the college fair, those were some of the questions that I asked admissions officers. What are you really looking at when it comes to grades? And they look at, they were saying, we look at grades, but more importantly, did the student challenge himself? And what did they learn from that experience? Another myth is I can't take an AP course because I was not recommended. We do have a recommendation process at the high school. Our teachers will recommend students for the next AP course. But if you think you're ready for an AP course, I encourage our students to advocate for themselves. If they really want it, I tell them go get it. Right? If you want to be in that course, go talk to the teacher. Come talk to me, and we will find out ways to make it happen. Sometimes today our kids are caught behind their cell phones, right, in front of their iPads. If you have grandkids, that technology is a big thing, right? I want students to have those face-to-face conversations with their teachers, because then the teachers will see, yes, this student really is motivated to take this course, and I'm gonna work with them. And so we're creating an atmosphere of, I want students to step outside their comfort zone and try new things, and don't be afraid, all right, to struggle a little bit. It's okay. Productive struggle is a good thing. You're going to work through it, and we will help guide you, as we talked about in that second myth. And then lastly, I don't think I will score high enough on the AP exam to get college credit. You don't need to score a 5. Well, 5 would be wonderful, but a 3 would get you, in most cases, college credit. And so with students, our guidance counselors will work with our students on developing their 4-year plan of what that looks like when they go to apply for a college. And our Board of Education is so gracious to reimburse students who do score a 3 or higher, which is really fantastic. It gives our students incentive to really perform well. And so I'm going to show you now those performance results as we go moving forward. So, we talk a little bit about what those credit and placement opportunities do. And I know some of you on the Board of Education have college-age students, right? As they're going through the process, you want to be able to research, and now online, kids can go on and they can see what colleges will offer credit for you when you take AP courses. And so this is kind of the credit policy search that is available by the College Board who runs AP. So if I want to go to the College of New Jersey, which is my alma mater, right, if I want to go to the College of New Jersey, I'll type it in, and they'll tell me what scores I would need in certain courses, and then I can see, okay, well, will I be a sophomore? Is there money that I can get off? Maybe I can take another course in my freshman year. So there's so many opportunities for our students to really see how they're going to do beyond high school as they go. So how did we do in the 23-24 school year? So we offer 23 different AP courses. Okay, we are really a Group 1 or Group 2 level high school, so we're considered a smaller high school. We have about 680 students. We introduced last year 4 new AP courses, and they were art history, macro and microeconomics, which was one course, AP chemistry, and pre-calculus. And what we found was, as we offered these courses, you put the teacher there that wants to teach these courses, the kids really perform well. We had 395 student tests. Okay, that's not 395 students. Okay, those are students who may have taken multiple APs, but we had 395 student tests. And if you look at the previous 4 years leading up to that, we've continued to increase. I arrived at the high school in 2019, which was the year of the pandemic. Obviously that year was a lot lower. As we were going through the process, we had a lot of students decide not to take the tests because they weren't in school. But you'll see that those numbers have increased steadily over the course of the year. We had an average score of 3.60 on those tests, and this represented the highest average score since prior to this 17-18 year, which was the year that the College Board, I can only go back that far on the College Board. So that's been the highest average, and 19 of the 23 subjects averaged a 3 or higher, which is really, really fantastic. So when you look at enrollment trends and passing rates, that first row is the total AP students. So you'll see that we had 213 individual students last year. And again, increased over from 21, increased each year. And then the number of exams increased as we went moving forward. AP scores with a 3 or above, we had 169 tests that averaged a 3 or above, which came out to be about 79%. So almost 80% of our students who took AP exams scored a 3 or higher, which is really, really fantastic for our kids. And just some of the highlights, as you look at it, AP Calculus had an average of a 4.73. Okay, so you're talking about just about every student who took that test got a 5, with the exception of a few. And then we had 2 students take the Calc BC test and they averaged a 4.5. Right, AP Chemistry for the first year had a 3.93. AP AP Physics, the national average is a 2.51. Our kids scored a 3.75. And then Mechanics is a 3.83. Our pre-calc in their first year was a 4.65. So you can see that our students are really, really performing well and showing improvement as they go along. Biology had its highest average since prior to 2017. Our history and world history both increased their averages. Economics averaged a 3 in their first year. Psychology continued to maintain an enrollment of over 45 students, which is our largest one. We had a student who, a student I'll never forget, he was in resource center classes, and he came to me and said, I really want to take AP Psychology. I said, go for it. You can do this, right? He scored a 5 on the exam, which is just, it's just mind-blowing to me. And for him, to see him and shake his hand and congratulate him was just fantastic. Music theory continues to outperform the state and global test takers, and then we outperform the state and global test takers in 16 of our 23 subjects. One of the things that happens with the College Board is that they have the opportunity to earn accolades. So you can become an AP Scholar with honors, or an AP Scholar with distinction. So you look at AP Scholar with honors is granted to students who score a 3 or higher on 3 or more exams. AP Scholar with honor is 3.25 on all of the exams that they take. Some of our students take up to 9 exams and scores a 3 or higher on 4 of those. And then the AP Scholar with distinction is granted to students who receive an average score of at least 3.5 on all AP exams and scores a 3 or higher on 5 or more. So you look at those, and we had 19 AP Scholars with distinction who averaged a 4.3 on their exams. And then AP Scholar with honors was 13, and AP Scholars with 31. So between last year and this current year, we doubled the amount of AP Scholars that we had and doubled the amount of AP Scholar with distinction, which is a testament to our kids, right, and to our staff who work so incredibly hard to do this. I looked at this slide, right, PTHS versus the world. So how did we do? We broke it out based on content areas, so we didn't single out a particular subject, but you'll see that we are outperforming or just about even with the state, and the yellow is the global. We are doing really, really well. These are, again, just the major content areas of English, Math, Science, and Social Studies, but we outperform them on the elective courses too, the arts and music. So, but I wanted to show the major course slides just so you can see really how well we are performing on these AP exams. So what are our next steps? Conversations are key, right? It's the conversations that I get to have with our teachers, that teachers get to have with students. So I will be meeting in the next several weeks with the AP teachers to review the detailed reports that are provided with us by the College Board. Because what they do is they provide us with reports that will say how well our students did on each individual standard. So we can see if there's areas within our curriculum we can adjust, assignments that we may want to change, and then develop individual action plans by subject to address those areas in curriculum instruction if we need to. It is hard when students score 4.75. Right? How do we go up from there? Right? And it's really just continuing to push as we go. Discuss how the master schedule will impact pacing and instruction. We did change our schedule this year, so we're going to see as we go through. One of our school goals is to define our end of course competencies. What are those goals that we have for our students at the end of the year? So we're going to go through the schedule and see what things that we may have to adjust. We're going to provide professional development for our AP teachers. We send a lot of them out to training. At the end of each year, a lot of our teachers do AP grading, so they'll go off and they'll grade other AP exams taken by students throughout the country, and that really gives them some insight as to how we're doing and how they're doing of the other students. We'll look at local state assessment data, how our students are doing on the NJGPA, which is the junior achievement test that they have to take, their final grades and things like that. And then our students do take midterms and finals, so we'll correlate how they're doing. Our midterms in an AP exam look very similar to an AP test. So our teachers have really created an exam that they can, I'll use the word guesstimate, right, how they're going to perform on an AP exam. And we've done really well in terms of determining that. So as an example, I'll use AP Calculus because that was the first one. Our AP Calculus teacher will look at the midterm grades and say, okay, the student did well or did this on the midterm, they're going to get a 4 or they're going to get a 5 based on what I know they can perform as they go moving forward. And then lastly, the College Board offers AP potential data, which is they look at grades that and the transcripts that are entered in our profiles, and they can see, okay, this student has this type of profile, we're recommending that they take these AP classes and provide us with some guidance for students. Because sometimes, as I said in the beginning, students don't realize that they can be AP students until we tell them they can be. And so it's those conversations that students may have with their guidance counselors moving forward. And so again, it really comes down to the relationships that we build with each other, teacher to administrator, teacher to student, administrators to students. It is great to watch kids thrive. That is our goal. And to watch students succeed on tests is one thing, but to watch them succeed in their classrooms with the relationships they have with their teachers is just a whole nother level. And I have the wonderful, unique opportunity to get to do that every day. Where I'm walking into classrooms and I'm sitting in a literature circle with the AP Lit class, or I'm putting the chemistry goggles on and I'm doing a chem lab and hoping not to blow up something, right? I'm sitting down in an AP music class as they're playing the piano, learning notes, drawing in AP studio art. Our kids are incredibly talented. And so it's how do we pull out those passions and help them discover who they really want to be. And so, thank you for the opportunity to present this data to you. I will brag about our students and staff all day long, and Dr. Portis will need the cane to yank me off of here. But again, thank you for this opportunity. I want to thank the Board of Education for their constant support of what we do. It's not easy because we all want our children to get straight A's, but at the end of the day, it's about the learning. And when they're in an AP class and they get a B, that's equivalent to getting an A, right? When you think about a weighting perspective. And so it's about challenging the students to be more than they thought they could be, to be more than they thought was possible. And not just our AP students, but every student that walks in our building. And so this is just a snapshot of what we do. But again, thank you for the opportunity, and be happy to answer any questions later as we go. But
yeah, we'll get you out of here when we're done with this and take questions now.
I don't know if anybody has any questions. I'd be happy to answer anything about the AP, or if you have any questions about the high school in general, I'd be happy to do that.
The last part was kind of just the AP.
I'll stick to it. Any questions from the board? Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Just when you thought it was safe to go in the water. I really do want to thank Mr. Hazler again, and I can tell you as a parent of a student who was able to take advantage of AP experiences and essentially cut off nearly a full year of college, or could have cut off a full year of college, it helps a lot. And even more so too, we see how it builds the kids up. Success has a funny way of spreading and within individuals, of building upon itself. So when you see kids walking through the hall and they've got that little extra air of confidence about them, it carries through to a lot of their different endeavors. And it's no coincidence that we've had outstanding results for our marching band, for our sports teams, for our performing arts programs. I think it's all tethered into a greater unifying whole, and I think Mr. Hazler's done a wonderful job with building the culture of the school, and it's demonstrating those results. So it's not an either or proposition. You either get more kids, take AP, or you get higher scores. We're looking at it as an and proposition, and the proof's in the pudding right now. I'm going to stop talking about that because I think he's going to ask me for a raise tomorrow morning.
Do it right now.
No, we don't. It's not the budget, sorry. I can't do it, pal. But I really do sincerely appreciate that. It does provide a nice segue to the district goals. Admittedly, this is going to come across as kind of dry by comparison, but it is very important. And I'll run through this, and then again there'll be an opportunity for questions when we're done. Also, this presentation, as well as the AP presentation, will be available on the district website. If not tomorrow, then definitely by Wednesday. So if you want to take a closer look at any of this information, it will be publicly available. And we do share our data as much as we can. Generally, it's good. It's not always good, but I think that there's a transparency and an honesty there. We share it as it is, and we give, I think, very thorough explanations. So in terms of this, District goals are set to correspond to our district's mission statement. And our mission statement is to provide a safe and dynamic learning environment that fosters individual creativity and maximizes potential to succeed in an ever-changing world. And I really do want to change our mission statement, but that's another story, another day. We use that kind of as our pole star as we lay out the foundation for what we want to accomplish on a yearly basis. Our process for setting this year's district goals really began back in February as part of our board retreat, at which the administrative team is present. And we talk about what the board is seeing, what they're saying is their goals, and we're trying to tease out of that, well, what can we do as an administrative team to support that? And how can we make sure that we're pulling in the same direction, and that there's a consistency in what we're trying to accomplish? The team meets in July, and we start the process of planning out the goals. They're broken into 3 separate subgroups, and then the subgroups work on developing goals that correspond to our strategic plan. And then they come together, they present their work, and then they continue refining it for about a month or so, and then present it to me. So what you're seeing right now is the byproduct of an awful lot of collaboration, and reflects an awful lot of, I think, powerful thinking from a very motivated and intelligent group of people. So our first goal is in the category of ensuring student success. These categories, again, come from our strategic plan, which was done in 2021. Carries through to 2026, and we've been very intentional in making sure that that strategic plan is a reference point for our goals as we move forward. What we're working on right now is a project called the Profile of a Graduate. This is something that we saw in a few other districts in the state, and as I discovered also nationwide, in which districts try to determine what is it that defines the attributes of a graduate of our high school, of our school district, truly. And so what we wanted to look at is what are the competencies that our kids need, and what is it that we can help them do, and what qualities we want them to possess so that they can be the most successful versions of themselves. Admittedly, when we started the project last year, I thought it was going to be pretty easy. We did set it as a 2-year goal, and then very quickly realized it would not be easy if we wanted to do it the right way and really get input from a variety of stakeholders. So we decided to expand it to a 3-year goal, and what we're looking to do more than anything this year is put out surveys to the community, to our students, to the staff, to the families, to find out what are the attributes that we really need, and what are we particularly good at, and what really defines Pequannock Township as a unique entity among so many other school districts in New Jersey. And we want to be able to use that survey information critically and analytically to really design a portrait of a graduate that is consistent with what our community's vision dictates. So year 1, which was last year, focused on defining success as it pertains to students who graduate from our school district. Success, as we've learned, has many definitions, and it should apply differently to different students. Ultimately, to me, it means maximizing your opportunities and maximizing your abilities. This year, as I said before, we're going to involve a wide range of community members, which includes students, to help us generate a better understanding of what should define our graduates. And I emphasize students because I think sometimes when we have these grand ambitions of what we want to do in schools, we forget students' voice really matters, and we're hoping for greater ownership of getting them involved. When we look into next year, we want to make sure that the outcome of this goal isn't just that we have some really nice, bright, shiny posters or something really glitzy on our website, but this is something we can actually infuse into our curriculum, into our lesson planning, into our assessments, so that everything points towards, we want this outcome for our kids. So I might be working with kindergartners, but I have a vision for what I want them to be able to do at the culmination of their experiences when they're 18 years old. So that's our first goal. Our second one is in the ensuring staff success theme. And I'm really proud of this one because we are the first district in the state of New Jersey that established an ensuring staff success category. And I think this is really important. Every district has ensuring student success, and as well we should. Those are our primary customers. But we wanted to make sure that we dug a little deeper and went with the staff success as well. So what we're looking to do this year is really help to build up our staff's sense of agency and their ability to get the support that they really need. Not just what we think they need, but what they really truly do need. And one of the middle sentences in the goal is that we aim to create meaningful experiences for our staff by offering time for them to focus on topics such as data-driven instruction, assessment design, and instructional planning. And for those of you who are retired educators, I don't know if you ever actually retire as an educator. I think you're eternally an educator. You can't ever really shake that. But you know, time is the most precious resource for our staff members. And so if we can help them get back time, we know they're going to use it well, and we want to make sure that we're giving them tools that will help them use that time to the best of their abilities. And a lot of this goes back to how can we provide better instructional strategies, what types of interventions can we provide for our students. We have a different clientele right now than we did 5 years ago, and we could bemoan that or we could work with it. And I find the second option vastly preferable. And so we have to meet the kids where they are while also pulling them up to a higher standard. And we want our staff to feel like their voice matters and that what they think is best for the kids is most likely what's best for the kids, and that we want to give them the tools to be able to achieve what is best for the kids. And the truth of the matter is, and it says we have a new director of curriculum and instruction, and she's already working very, very hard on trying to make sure that we have outstanding curriculum, but also materials. But if the staff doesn't know how to deliver them, they're useless. So we want to make sure that the quality of instruction is as great as it can be. And really, as I have in the box down the bottom about the outcomes, instructional strategies are critical to providing a differentiated learning environment that meets the needs of all learners and supports teachers. Differentiation is difficult. When I was a high school English teacher, it was pretty easy. Say when I taught AP Lit and Comp, I didn't really have to differentiate all that much. I had kids who were largely at the same level, and I could push out a single lesson, and I could do a lot of large group instruction. That's very uncommon now. You're going to have kids who are in that low middle group, that middle high group, that very high group, struggling group, and you have to be able to provide different learning opportunities. We really learn, not every kid learns the same way. It's a lot of work. It's also really good work because the outcome is it supports our kids where they are. And a lot of this, by the way, I should mention too, is defined by the quality of our professional development. We had a really good 2-day experience to start the school year. We have a professional development day coming up on the Friday before Columbus Day, and we're going to keep reinforcing what we push out to the staff so it doesn't feel like a one-time only proposition, but that is something that builds on itself. And finally, the third goal is collaborating, informing, and improving, which is actually part of, should have edited that better. It's part of our community partnerships goal, something that we realize is we can't do this alone. I've said for years that, that we take care of the schooling part of students' education, where we're all involved in the true education of children. And the most important teachers that a student or child has really is the parents or caregivers from when they start at a very, very early age. And so we want to make sure that we're giving support back to our community members, but also taking from them what they can offer. And it's something that we've found. We have a wonderful relationship. It started up a little more than 5 years ago, coinciding with my starting up as a superintendent, but working with the Retired Educators Club and seeing what they can bring to our students during Read Across America Week, but also they've done some wonderful things to support our new hires, making them goodie bags, to make them really feel welcome in the district. And for our staff to know, including during Teacher Appreciation Week, that there are people in our community who really care about them and want to see them succeed. That matters. And so this goal is something that's a continuation of other goals we've had throughout the years. It's to increase two-way collaboration among members of the Pequannock Township community and the school district to enhance opportunities and experiences for our staff and students. We've been able to really get in some great guest speakers to work with our kids. We have an aviation academy, and some of the heavy hitters we've brought in for that have been wonderful because we have people from the Air Force sharing their experiences, pilots, people from the Navy. I'm talking about, these are the things that I'm able to do based on the skills I have. And it's a lot different from learning in a textbook when you can hear people speaking firsthand about their experiences. We also want to make sure the community is made aware of what we are doing in the school district as well. Success shouldn't be a secret. And so we want to make sure that we're trumpeting our accomplishments and getting announcements out in a timely manner. We do try to distribute our newsletters up here as well. Hopefully everybody's getting a chance to check out what's going on in the schools. I send out a weekly newsletter too. We use quite a few social media channels. I will admit I find some social media a little scary and kind of weird at times, so I'm not so adept with some of the resources. TikTok seems completely foreign to me, but younger people seem to understand it very well. But our high school kids are working on actually work on an Instagram account. They push things out that other students really like. For people who are more comfortable with Facebook, we have a prominent Facebook presence. We use Twitter, which doesn't have much of a following anymore. But we're finding ways to get the word out so that people know what's going on. We also want to create opportunities for the community and school to collaborate for the benefit of all. We're currently working right now with the Rotary Club on a community wellness initiative that's to support teen mental health wellness, but also support families. Actually, it's not just teens, it's also preteens. But these are the kind of opportunities we really enjoy because it's people who want to get involved in helping make young people's lives better. And I can't think of a better mission to have than that. And then we also want to increase community awareness of events, policies, opportunities, appreciation of programs. Something that the principals really want to do now is really focus on thanking our volunteers in a more public manner. Most of our volunteers do not want to be noticed. They actually quite enjoy going under the radar. So we might push back from them as we say, hey, you know who's great? This person. But I still think it's wonderful to be able to say that and hopefully inspires other people to be like, wait a minute, that's my neighbor. I can do the same thing. So we definitely want to get the word out that there's some really wonderful things happening in the Pequannock School District as well as the community and continue working together and not look at ourselves in our own silos. It did backfire back in August for Mr. Hazler and me when we were invited to join the dunk tank that the police had set up for part of National Night Out. You would have thought students know that I'm the person who decides when to have a snow day, that they would not try to dunk me, but several students not only tried but succeeded, as did my wife and my youngest son. But it's things like that that are really a lot of fun. And we do like to work together. The police have been a wonderful resource for us and really helped us step up our school safety program. And if the price we have to pay is that we get dumped, so be it. And as far as the summary, one thing too that we're talking about a lot now is attendance. And this has become a major concern. I'm not going to call it an outcome of the pandemic response, but it is something that I think it's no coincidence that it's come after the pandemic response, where we have a lot of families that maybe don't have the same value for sending the kids to school as they once did. We do track attendance. More specifically, we track something called chronic absenteeism. And we do have students who are habitually chronically absent, which means they're absent 18 days or more per year. It's very hard to learn when you're not in the building. We send home work for them to make up, but it's not the same as in-person instruction. In one of our elementary schools, we had reported data for chronically absent kindergarten students last year that was 22.5%. On average, we expect it to be around 3, 4, maybe 5% tops. So we're dealing with something right now that I think is part of a changing identity amongst our workforce in our country, but we need to fix this, and we need to fix it quick. The kids have to be in school. I get it, if they're very, very sick, keep them home. Now that I think about it, as I'm up here, I might have my mother come speak to some of the parents because in the Portis household, you could have been knocking on death's doorstep and you were still going to school. I think maybe it's a touch extreme, but I think it's really important just to reinforce. We need them here. And if a kid knows, they say, oh, my stomach's bothering me, and they figure out they can get away with it and binge watch cartoons or play video games, they might keep dipping into that well. So we're going to keep reinforcing the message. It's really important to have the kids there. And this applies for staff as well, that we want to make sure that everybody's there. And that's when the best things happen in schools. And then obviously we're going to keep focusing on mental health and wellness. It's a huge part of our awareness. Providing parent universities, which are great instructional programs to help support parents. I should say projects like the Veterans Wall, because I don't think there's another project quite like it. It's magnificent, and I don't know if I have enough words to really express how wonderful Veterans Wall is, but projects that really bring community members in. And I mentioned before about the preschool playground, which will also be a playground for students with special needs, whether physical or neurodiverse needs. But I think it's really important to let people know, like, we're listening to you, we want to work with you, because when the school district has its resources going and the community brings its resources, it's kind of like we elevate each other in the process. We want to advertise our academies more, make sure there are no secrets about the great things that we're offering. And also, as I mentioned before, actually have a greater push for recognition of volunteers as well as our community partners who help us deliver experiences. And this includes working with our partners at Chilton. Atlantic Health has been a wonderful partner for us with our Allied Health Academy, and beyond that, but we want to make sure that we continue to show our gratitude to them. And so the outcome, keep community members informed of district success stories. Every Friday, I try to make it a point to send Mrs. Mack our list of links for this principal newsletters. I know she gets mine as well. But I think that that's really important for people to know. These are the things that are happening in our district. And a couple of social media providers in the community also push out the school newsletters. So I think it's great. Even if you don't have kids in the schools, you can find out what's going on. We want to create opportunities for the community schools to collaborate. And then, as I said before, really increase community awareness of events, policies, opportunities, appreciation, and programs. And that last one's kind of the fun goal, because we're proud of this. We want to talk about it. We really want to share it. And so that's my very inspiring message. So if you find yourself all charged up and ready to rush out and do something great, that's really the goal there. But we appreciate that you're here. We do feel really valued by the community at Cedar Crest, and we hope that we're showing that back to you as well. So that's my presentation for the district goals. Now's probably an appropriate time to let Mr. Hazer know he could have left about 20 minutes ago and wouldn't have flinched. But if there are any questions about the district goals that I might be able to address at this point, whether from the board or from our community members, even if there's only one question, it means you have more questions for me than you did for Hazel. I wrote that.
So the attendance then, so, is that based on?
Yeah, we'll move back to
I can say the question. Well, I mean, board members coming back would be a good idea. And then in the community, if you have questions, either we'll have somebody walk the microphone around, or I can just repeat your question for you. Yeah.
We could go.
And what Mr. Shreese was asking about is if we think that some of the reason why parents are less likely to force their kids to go to school is that they might just be home already because they're working from home. I don't have any specific information that can support that, but my speculation is that probably is part of it, because if I wanted to stay home, it was a massive inconvenience for my parents. Whether they were going to be home for the day or had to stay home, well, they wanted me there anyway. So I have one more question Mr. Hazer got, so that's good. Any other questions from the board or from any of our attendees?
So I don't have a question, I just have a comment. I am very excited to see where the portrait of graduate goes. And I'm also very excited for the point at the end of this year when we're going to be able to, as you say, infuse that insight into our curriculum and really start to mold the final product. Not that we don't produce a phenomenal student now, we definitely do, but to refine it even more with intentional thought, I'm really excited to see where that's going to go, especially with people like you and Mr. Hazel working on it. I can't wait to see where that goes.
And I'm happy to hear that coming from you too, because I think so much of that goal feels very abstract at this point, so it's hard to like really get a handle on it. We're definitely going to have some type of posters that are going to represent what's the outcome we have for this year. And we do want them to be very attractive and easy to follow and easy to read, but that's not even close to enough. We want to make sure that, okay, so you've identified these things, what are you going to do about it? And that's something I think Mrs. Vanskill is going to really have to be a champion for as we enter into the last phase of the project, which is going to be ongoing anyway. But to be able to say, this is the outcome we want for our kids. How are we getting them there? And I'm excited for it too. I get excited for everything too, by the way. Yes.
This may be late because I'm a slow thinker. I wanted to comment on the AP course.
Now he's
And
going
it
to
just,
too.
it dawned on me that almost half your students, let's say you have 500 students, and you have 240 doing, I think that's AP courses, half your students are doing AP. That is very, very impressive.
We have about
It's great. I want to make sure I repeat so it goes into the recording. Yeah, so the comment was about how we have, based on the data up there, nearly half of our students in our high school taking AP courses, and how that's something laudable. And Rich, if you want to respond, you can come right up here.
Yes, thank you for that question. Yeah, we have about 30. There's about 40% of our students taking APs, and then we also have students which aren't included in here. Our allied health students, they take Rutgers credits for their classes, so they're also taking college level classes where they don't even take AP science. They take anatomy and physiology through Rutgers University. So they're taking a separate Rutgers exam that they take in June. So we probably do have close to, I would probably say 45% of our students taking college level courses at some point in their career. So.
Mr. Hazer.
Sorry. There's about 25 kids per graduating class, right, in the Allied Health Academy?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. So we have cohorts of students. We have an Allied Health Academy through the high school. We also have shared time through Morris County Go Tech, where we have districts send their students to our school. And so we have about 12 to 13 different high schools that come to our school, some in the morning, some in the afternoon. And they'll come and take classes, college level courses, and then they also do internships at the hospital at Chilton. And so in May and beginning of June, they will take Rutgers tests for college credit.
And one other comment, which applies to this. I'm fortunate enough to get your weekly messages. And when a week ago, I applaud because you were talking about the start of school and how it was prepared. You made special mentions of the secretary. And it was noticed. And I think that's very, very
I sincerely appreciate that. His comment, by the way, we're going to be busing you to all of our board meetings hereafter so that I can keep having you say really positive things.
well, the rates I'm getting, yes.
Absolutely. But just bringing up that in one of my updates, I made a reference to specifically to thank the secretaries for all their hard work to help get the schools ready. Rich has been a Hazel all his life. Rich has been a principal for 14 years. So he can tell you who really runs the school, and I can tell you who really runs the school district. And without the incredible hard work and dedication of our secretaries, we'd be toast. So I am really happy. I joke, I worry sometimes I'm before an empty auditorium with some of what I send out. I don't want to ever be that guy who goes straight to delete. It's like, oh, course again. But so I really appreciate that you read it, but also that you understand that was a message that was sincere, and I'm glad to hear that you noticed it as well.
Thank you.
Oh, and Mr. Pompeo has volunteered or been voluntold?
Pretty sure I was voluntold.
Voluntold.
Pretty good volunteer.
You're very good at it.
My name is Edward Engelbart. I'm a former board member a number of years ago. I am also a member of the Pequannock Township Historic Society, okay? And we run the Martin Berry House. I'm a trustee. I want to tell the board and the school district that we have many individuals who have talents, who know a lot about the history of our community. I am also a member of the Historic District Commission. Again, we have individuals who are part of that group which represent the town through being appointed to that commission. And we have people who are able to help the school in any way possible dealing with the history of Pequannock Township. And those individuals are willing and able to participate in the school district in some way or other. And we want to just simply say that you can draw upon the talents of many of these individuals who are willing to serve the school district and the community and the children of our district. Thank you.
And thank you for that, too, Mr. Engelbart. And we're probably going to achieve goal 3 now, knowing that we have the additional support, which is the community partnerships. But a couple of years ago, the Historical Society or Commission helped do a dig outside PV School, which had at one point been a tavern, but also I guess an inn, and had volunteered that teachers could bring their kids out if they wanted to see how the excavation process worked, and also what kinds of artifacts came up. And with 11 through 14-year-olds, you never quite know what their interest level is going to be. Things that I find fascinating, sometimes they don't necessarily agree. They were so into it, they were so interested, they were so excited, especially some bottles came up and silverware. There were some really cool things. So with that said, we very much appreciate the support. I think it's something that I would love for us to be able to tap into. You want your kids to know their roots. We talk about the first goal too, the portion of a Pequannock graduate. Being a graduate school is not just about looking forward into the future. It's also looking back into the past of what the community's done to get to the level that it's achieved. And I think it's really important to have those connections with the Historical Society as well as other groups in town. So I appreciate it. He will make house calls, so if anybody else has any questions, you can raise a hand. It's pretty nimble still. Well, there will be an opportunity for public comment too. We actually have two portions of it. So if questions do come up that aren't germane to AP scores or the district goals, you have an opportunity there too.
Thank you, Dr. Portis. Mr. Gibbs, do you have a report?
Yes. Good evening. The new playground at North Boulevard will be delivered during the second week of October, and the installation date should be forthcoming. On September 3rd, 2024, the state of New Jersey changed the law with respect to the open requests under NJSA 47.1-A-5. Open requests must be submitted on a state form and not just requested via an email or a letter. The state's new form is listed on the school's website. As Dr. Portis previously mentioned, on September 10th, Dr. Portis, Dr. Shirelli, Mr. Anderson, and I met with a small group of individuals from town who would like to see a new preschool playground at North Boulevard. We will be working with them on securing the necessary funds to build the playground. It currently is in the discussion phase and will be further discussed. The reconditioning of the ball fields has been completed on September 5th. The new windows at the high school have been delayed 2 weeks due to manufacturing issues. The school's appraiser will have the appraisal completed by Friday, February 20th on 7 Industrial Road. A copy will be shared with the board once received. The inspection report from the school's engineers for 7 Industrial Road is still pending. And on September 5th, there was an open request from a carpenters union for vendor and purchase order information as to the construction projects from September 5th, 2022 to September 5th, 2024. The request was completed on September 6th in accordance with state guidelines. On Wednesday, October 2nd, 2024, the Morris County School Board Association will hold a meeting at the Pequannock Township High School. The topic for this meeting will be mental health resources for your school district. Thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to approval of the minutes. Mr. Gittin, will you please move the minutes?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes for the August 19th meeting and the September 3rd meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any question or discussion? Mr. Gibbs, please call the roll.
Mr. Bloomer?
Yes.
Mr. Cerisi?
Yes.
Ms. Dempsey is absent. Mr. Gittin?
Yes.
Mr. McSweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pompeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Shetland is absent. Mrs. Esposito?
Yes.
And Mr. Cedar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. That brings us to our first opportunity for public comment. Members of the public may speak once for a maximum period of 5 minutes by the clock during this portion of the meeting, and you can speak on any agenda item only. That includes the presentations. If you do want to come up and raise a question, please address that question to the board president and state your name and sign in before we begin. Alternatively, we can have Mr. Pompeo go to your seat since he left it.
It's the favorite thing that you ever hear. Come on down.
Okay.
Like me this year.
Seeing none, we'll move on to approval of the action items. Up first is PMC. Mr. Cerisi, would you please move the items under
I
PMC?
would like to move PMC 51-25 through PMC 65-25.
Second.
I'm going to go Pompeo second. Any question or discussions on any of those items?
Yeah, just real quick, I think as we mentioned each committee, we could remind the audience what each bar, so PMC, just what it stands for actually.
Go ahead.
So that, why don't you mention that, just about a little bit?
Mention personnel, management, and community relations.
Thank you.
PMC.
Good point.
Okay. Mr. Gibbs, please call roll.
Mr. Bloomer?
Yes.
Mr. Cerisi?
Yes.
Mrs. Dempsey is absent. Mr. Gittin?
Yes.
Mr. McSweeney?
I will abstain from 63-25, but yes to everything else.
Mr. Pompeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Shetland is absent. Mrs. Esposito?
Yes.
And Mr. Cedar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay. Next up is curriculum, instruction, and special services, which is CIS. And that's Mr. McSweeney. Mr. McSweeney, would you please move those items?
Yes, I'd like to move CIS 16-25 through CIS 24-25.
Second.
Okay, Bloomer second. Question or discussion? I have one item just to comment on, CIS 2425. The list of people that we're sending to Conquer Math for professional development, the list of teachers, I believe have grown since last year. Last year we sent essentially everybody in first grade through 8th grade, including algebra and geometry. I think we didn't have 3rd and 4th because we were getting grants from the state to back that PD. But this year we were sending literally everybody. I know that the teachers are getting a lot out of it, and I'm excited for it. I'm happy that the board is continuing to support it, and that you as the administration are continuing to promote it. So thank you.
And I appreciate that too. I know, I just want to give Ms. Van Skull an opportunity, completely unprompted other than just at spur of the moment, but you want to talk about your background and then why this is something that might be particularly relevant for you.
Hi. So I just started as the director of curriculum in the district as of September 1st, which I'm super excited to be here. My background is as a math teacher. I was a middle school math teacher in a couple of districts. I love math. I love getting students excited about it. I want them to love math, and I love teaching it from a perspective of how can we make it more accessible to every learner so that all the students realize they can get to the point in high school that they can take the higher levels of math. So Conquer Math basically addresses all of those things where we teach students how to use manipulatives, understand it from a concrete perspective, then move it to pictures, and then move to the abstract, which is where we as adults tend to live. So we have to remember how children grow developmentally in learning math and that process, is not to skip all those important steps as we get to the abstract that we all live in as adults. So I'm very excited about the program. Ms. Schultz speaks to exactly how I teach it, which will help me to reinforce it with our teachers as we go along.
Thank you. Any more questions or discussion on that?
It's just been, I mean, I remember when they were building that facility, and now it's right in North Compton, right across the street from the library, and they've become an amazing partner, and yeah, it's amazing what she's done.
Okay, Mr. Gibbs, please call the roll.
Mr. Bloomer?
Yes.
Mr. Cerisi?
Yes.
Ms. Dempsey is absent. Mr. Gittin?
Yes.
Mr. McSweeney?
Yes.
Mr. Pompeo,
Yes.
Mr. Shannon is absent, Mrs. Esposito,
Yes.
and Mr. Senick.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, up next is Finance, Facilities, and Athletics, FFA, and the chair of that is Mr. Bloomer. Mr. Bloomer, would you please move the items under FFA?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to move FFA 30-25 to FFA 36-25.
Second.
Any question or discussion? Mr. Gibbs, please call the roll.
Mr. Bloomer,
Yes.
Mr. Cerisi.
Yes.
Ms. Dempsey is absent, Mr. Ginn,
Yes.
Mr. McSweeney,
Yes.
Mr. Pompeo,
Yes.
Mrs. Shannon is absent, Mrs. Esposito,
Yes.
and Mr. Senick.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, last up, approval of our items is the Policy Committee, which is chaired by Ms. Dempsey, and she's unfortunately not here tonight. Dr. Forrest is going to fill us in on a couple of things that that committee's been working on.
No acronym for policy.
Yes, policy is a standalone. We do not have an area of scope. So there's no action for policy, but I just want to give a couple of updates and also let you know about a few things to anticipate. In the previous meeting, we discussed policy 0171, which has to do with duties of the board president. There is a minor grammatical change. We're changing the relative pronoun from which to that in item 10, which was a glaring item that needed updating, at least in my mind. Also, something that we were looking at is the organizational chart. I didn't jot down the number for that one, but we're going to look to make sure that the organizational chart accurately reflects all of the current positions we have in place. Last time we updated it, we were not directors of student services, they were still supervisors. So we want to make sure that that is consistent with what our actual structure is. And Mrs. Zog, who is my secretary / boss, is currently working on formatting what that chart looks like. And I think she's up to the challenge. It'll look pretty good. And then two other policy items. One is we've been discussing the homework policy. We had a conversation about it at our last meeting. The homework policy, as it appears in its clean, polished format, will be put on the first October meeting for our first reading, and then we'll have it ready for a second reading and have it fully implemented for the remainder of the school year. There's no major shift in it. It's largely a philosophical document, but I think it really helps to codify what our beliefs are about what homework should be, and also the fact that we will have the 2 homework-free weekends this year. And then finally, I received information from Strauss Esme, who is our partner in generating policy. It's the long-awaited artificial intelligence, AI policy. I was able to give it a read. Something that they're recommending is that whatever you approve for your AI policy is tethered to an AI plan, which may or may not be board approved. And at first I thought that their policy was a bit on the flimsy side, and I realize now that's a smart move on their part, because whatever we put into place, the way the technology is evolving, it is so fast that whatever we put into place, if it's hard and fast, it'll be outdated within months. So something that we're going to start looking into much more closely is having an AI team. Mr. Shea, who was here earlier, he is our Chief Technology Officer, is going to spearhead this project and really look into how we can help our staff and our students best harness artificial intelligence in order to work more efficiently, more effectively, and really help our kids navigate what has become a very murky stream of information. They might be plagiarizing without knowing that they're plagiarizing. And so I think, as is the case with technology, it's a wonderful benefit, but it also comes with a cost. And we want to make sure that our students are as well prepared for that as possible, and that we have a consistent approach to it. And also we want to make our teachers' lives a little better too, and be able to provide them with tools that will help make their work more efficient and more effective. So I'm working on that one. We should have something for the AI policy ready to go, if not the first October meeting, most likely the second.
All right, before we move on, I just want to say that if Dr. Forrest looks a little beat up and distraught, that one change in the English language to that one policy you mentioned first really probably did take its toll on him, believe it or not. So we're here for you, and it's going to be okay.
I mean, who has which modifying a non-restrictive clause? I mean, come on.
Crazy people, man, I'm sorry. All right, moving on to our next item on the agenda is public comment again, this time for any topic you would like to talk about. You can speak for a maximum period of 5 minutes. If you do want to speak, just raise your question, direct it to the board president, and state your name and sign in before you begin speaking.
Good evening. My name is Tina Ikeo. Members of the board, fellow community members, thank you for having me. I would like to take a moment to recognize the efforts of the entire school community, especially Dr. Shaliri and her team at North Boulevard for ensuring a smooth opening to the school year. I'm a mom of a preschool special ed student who can go through an entire range of emotions in a 5-minute span, and navigating the journey of back to school can be really challenging. The school offered so many opportunities to sort of transition back. Everyone felt welcome, everyone felt adjusted. So we're really looking forward to another amazing year with Mrs. Romino, and it's been a wonderful experience at North Boulevard. So I needed to give kudos where kudos definitely is due. On another note, I'd like to formally recognize one of our community members, Colleen McMahon, and many of the board members who have done a tremendous amount of effort on the Veterans Ball Project, which is nearing completion at the high school. I know you've heard about it a couple of times already tonight. Just the generosity of the local vendors and contractors, the collaboration between the school and the town, it's been just remarkable to watch unfold. I'm the wife of an Army veteran and a current member of the Pequannock Township Fire Department, so service is something that's deeply valued in our household, and it's heartwarming to see Pequannock's commitment to honoring those who have served, particularly graduates of Pequannock Township High School, in such a meaningful way. And this, speaking from, I was a high school administrator for a decade myself, and I will say that I work for districts that don't have Pequannock's amazing stance on what I'm about to say, so I give them a lot of credit. We're in a world that's really, really heavy on data. You saw a lot of data tonight, right? Where numbers and scores and college placements could be the focus, but Pequannock continues to celebrate graduates' achievements with equality. Whether kids are going to Brown, playing D1 football, or they're headed to Lincoln Tech to study automotive, entering the workforce, or of course going into the United States Armed Forces, they're celebrated equally, and I commend you guys for that. Thank you, and God bless America.
Okay, anybody else?
Good evening. My name is Margaret Mack, and I'm one of the leaders of the retired educators at Cedar Crest, along with Ruth Winfrey and Linda Percussion. And we have another co-leader, Diane Rieger, but she couldn't stay. And we're old, but we have a young group. The retired educators have been doing this for 3 years. We remember what it was like to be a new teacher or a new employee and coming into a new district. Although we don't have funding with our group, we don't have dues, but Cedar Crest, through their goodness, does provide us with funds to help provide a sprinkle of good wishes for new teachers, new hires. And I just happened to realize that we have a new employee right here in front of us. So could Linda, would you like to read that little symbol?
Thank you, Marge. Now I have to focus.
We can adapt.
I'm trying with the light. May you be proud of the work you do, the person you are, and the difference you make. And we welcome you to the Pequannock Township.
Yes, we have something for there are 18 new hires or new members of the Pequannock school system. I contacted Dr. Portis, and we also support Butler. And so I contacted the superintendent of Butler and also Kinlaw. We try to support as many schools as we can, 12 actually altogether, because some of the servers who serve us in the restaurants come from the district. So we do teacher appreciation in May, and we do sprinkles of good wishes. So this is the third year we've done that. So we appreciate you, and we will be visiting all the schools. Even though we can't perhaps get in the buildings, we have the secretaries deliver it to the cubbies or whatever. But we appreciate you, and we wish you good luck.
Amazing.
Thank you very much, ladies. That's outstanding. Okay, seeing no more comments, I'm going to move to the next agenda item, which is unfinished business. Does any board member have any unfinished business? How about new business? Board member announcements.
Not really an announcement as such, but I have been getting very good feedback from parents. I don't know about the feedback from my own children yet for the start times and the Panther period, but I've had quite a few people text me and message me and stuff, and it seems to be working out really well, and they're pretty happy about it. The Panther period, I think, is still a little question about what exactly, like they're asking me what exactly, and I'm saying, well, you got an email on that, so read it. And speaking of emails, now I understand why Dr. Portis loves getting emails from me, because I write my emails the same way I get text messages from my children. So that must really make your skin crawl.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I just, first of all, I would like to say that made my night. That was amazing. Thank you so much for that. That was, I mean, I don't know if anybody knew that was happening, but that was great. I love coming here, so I wish we could do more meetings here. It's always great, always warm and welcoming. I love seeing familiar faces. Like, you guys look forward to this, which makes us happy. I remember when we first did it in the other, right in the Commons room, right? But thank you for showing up. This is great.
I know Vinny looks forward to it.
I have thank you for having us again. I know the servers were mentioned in our restaurants, and I know that the Cedar Crest does a great job. I think you can take care of the servers as well. They give them scholarships when they graduate. So thank you for treating our students well. Once they leave the Cedar Crest as servers. I also have a liaison report from last week from Morris County ESC. It was the first meeting of the school year, so there was a lot of talk of the emergency busing routes that had to be made up at the last minute, and it's always an interesting topic at our first meeting. So dozens of new routes that have to be created kind of on the fly for all the different school districts in Morris County. We also discussed, we approved the hiring of an assistant superintendent for ESC to divide the roles of the transportation operation and the educational operation. And the education includes a lot of the placements for aides, nursing, and special services around the county. So that happened. ESC's budget doesn't come from the district, it comes from the tuition they receive from all the students that go there. So that's where the ESC report is.
Okay, real quick, thank you as always for having us. It was really actually nice to sit here and see all of the things that I think the district has done in a year. I mean, that was just a little sprinkle of what we've done, but in a whole year what the district has done since last time we saw you. So I too have gotten actually a lot of feedback from the middle school kids in regard to loving the new schedule. So, I think that's great. They're definitely liking the shortened periods, and I think the Panther period is helping them, and they're getting used to it. So that made me super happy, and I wanted to share. Just for board members, October 7th, We will be wearing blue to stop out bullying, to support bullying awareness and prevention. And then October 28th, we will wear pink for breast cancer awareness. I will send out reminders. Thank you. Multiple reminders.
I also wanted to say thank you, not much of an announcement, but thank you for hosting us yet again. I will try not to hold it against any of you that you did not, only one person used my services of the milk and mic this evening. But I did also want to congratulate or wish best wishes to, we said we're 8 days into the school year, and tonight was the first senior night for fall sports. So to our field hockey players who are finishing their career, definitely wanted to wish them the best of luck. And then also, I think it can't go without saying that our football team is undefeated this year so far. And it's worth noting. They should be proud of their accomplishments. They definitely put the work in the offseason and have represented us well.
Okay. We do not have reason to go into executive session tonight, so we will adjourn now. Our next meeting is going to take place October 7th at the high school. Again, I want to thank the Cedar Crest community for hosting us tonight. It's another great meeting. I also want to thank you for your passion and your continued interest in our school district. Every time we come up here, it's a great time, and you guys make the meeting so much fun for us. So I want to thank you for that, and again, thank you for hosting us. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good night, everybody, and again, thank you.
Thank you.